So in the book Luke, in the New Testament, they tell you that Jesus is presented in the temple. It says, the time came for Joseph and Mary to do what the laws of Moses commanded and perform the ceremony of purification. So they took the child to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. This is what is written in the laws of the Lord. Every firstborn male shall be dedicated to the Lord. They also went to offer a sacrifice as required by the law of the Lord, a pair of doves or 2 young pigeons. So the problem with this text is that it's contradicting the Hebrew Bible. Basically, when a firstborn male is born, you take him to do a ceremony. It doesn't have to be in the temple, but it has to be in the presence of a priest, a Kohen. So it's not a purification ceremony. So it says that it's a ceremony of purification. It's not. It's basically every male firstborn is dedicated to the temple, and the family is redeeming it. Basically, they're buying it back, basically. And according to the Bible, to the Torah, they're doing a ceremony in which they are giving 5 shekels. Usually, it's 5 coins of pure silver. All right, and you do that, and it's a very famous Jewish ceremony. I mean, they do it up until today. It's called Petera Bechor. And it's a very famous, very happy celebration when a firstborn male is born, and they do it. It doesn't have to be in a temple. Usually they do it in the house, and they bring a coin. And so check this out. They're saying a pair of doves and 2 young pigeons. No. This is not what the sacrifice is. The sacrifice is 5 shekels, 5 coins of pure silver. So it is clear that whoever wrote that is not Jewish, and also is lacking information and knowledge about Jewish scripture and Jewish tradition. Another problem with this story with Luke is that it's contradicting the story in Matthew. In Matthew, they are telling you that actually Joseph and Mary went to Bethlehem, and then they had to run away and leave to Egypt because King Herod, I assume King Herod the Great, ordered the murder of all the firstborn male in Bethlehem and the surrounding areas. This is contradicting to the story in Luke, saying that they went to Bethlehem to register for the census or something like this, and then Jesus was born, and then they circumcised him a week afterwards, and then they did the ceremony in the temple, which, if you understand between the lines, it happened a few weeks after that, because you have to do it in a month. All right, so they didn't run away to Egypt. All right, so it's which one? They stayed in Jerusalem, they ran away to Egypt. This is a contradicting story. Another major problem with Luke is that he's saying that Emperor Augustus made a census to count all the citizens in the Roman Empire, and because of that, Joseph had to go to Bethlehem from the Galilee. He had to go to Bethlehem in Judea, where he was supposedly born, in order to register. The problem is that at the time of Emperor Augustus, the Jews living in Judea were not citizen of the Roman Empire. This only happened 200 years afterwards, when Emperor Caracalla granted Roman citizenship to all the residents of the Roman Empire. At the time of Emperor Augustus, Judea was a sovereign state. It was not a part of the Roman Empire. It was a client state, and eventually a vassal state to the Roman Empire, but it had its own king, King Herod the Great, and then afterwards it was separated to Archelaus and Herod Antipas and Herod Philippus, and then Agrippus, until the first Jewish revolt against the Romans in the year 66. But at the time of Emperor Augustus, Judea was ruled by Herod the Great. It was a sovereign state. The Jews over there were not Roman citizens. I mean, they were not even They were not even citizen of a province of Rome, because the Roman citizens were the citizens of Rome, and Italy. And if you were living in Gaul, in Spain, in France, in Germany, in Greece, in Syria, Asia Minor, in Egypt, so you were living in a province of the Roman Empire, and most likely you were not a Roman citizen. There were Roman citizens that settled in those countries, and they had full Roman citizenship. And there was some nobility among those indigenous people, like in Syria, like in Egypt, like in Greece, like in Gaul, and like in Germany, that were granted Roman citizenship. We know for a fact that some family members of Herod the Great were granted Roman citizenship, but the Jews living in Judea did not have Roman citizenship. It was very far away. They were citizens of the kingdom of Judea. It doesn't matter that Judea at that time was a client state of the Roman Empire. Supposedly, like there was some garrison station in Syria, and they were actually the real one that in charge and on the area. Okay, but the king was King Herod, and afterwards his ancestors, and but the Jews themselves, people like Joseph, were not Roman citizens, and this is why. There's absolutely no reason for Joseph to go to Bethlehem to register for a census for the Roman Empire, because he was not a part of the Roman Empire. Many years later, Emperor Claudius, which was a relative of Emperor Augustus, about the year 50 CE, so about maybe 60 years afterwards, he actually did a census to count all the residents of the Roman Empire, and he counted about 5 million Jews living in the Roman Empire. Among them, about 4 million living in Judea. Yes, so this whole story about Joseph going to Bethlehem has no historical basis. Another problem with the book of Luke is that it goes to the genealogy of Jesus, and is saying that the father of Joseph, the father of Jesus, his name was Heli. So this is contradicting to Matthew, which tells you in the birth record of Jesus Christ that Jacob was the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, who was the mother of Jesus, called the Messiah. So this is a clear contradiction. Now, guys, there are actually more stuff, but this video get way too long, and this is why we're gonna stop here. But this book of Luke has way too many mistakes.